You think you're losing control, failing at your goals, or falling behind in life. But here's a shocking truth: you're not falling, you're distracted. Every day, endless notifications, half-finished tasks, and constant noise hijack your attention. You feel like life is slipping away, but it's not that you're weak or failing, it's that your focus is fractured. Most people think success depends on talent, luck, or working harder. The reality? It depends on your ability to direct your attention, not your energy. You can have all the skills in the world, yet if you're scattered, you'll stumble repeatedly. Here's the brutal part: distractions are invisible traps. You don't see them coming until hours, or even days, have passed, and suddenly you're frustrated, exhausted, and convinced you're falling behind. But if you learn to recognize these moments, you can stop the downward spiral. You don't need to work harder. You need to see clearly. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to regain control, eliminate distractions, and take deliberate steps so that you're no longer spinning out, you're moving forward. You keep blaming yourself when things go wrong: "I'm not disciplined enough, I can't stay on track," or "I'm just falling behind." But here's the truth: it's rarely about discipline. It's about distraction. Every ping, every notification, every half-finished task pulls you away from what actually matters. You think you're losing, but you're simply fragmented. Most people believe success comes from grinding harder, pushing longer, or being better than everyone else. But that's a myth. Hard work without focus is like rowing a boat with holes: no matter how hard you paddle, you'll never get far. The truth is that attention, not effort, separates those who succeed from those who feel stuck. This topic matters today more than ever because our brains are under constant assault from digital noise. Social media, emails, news alerts, they're engineered to fragment your attention. If you don't fight back, your days will be consumed without you even noticing, leaving you frustrated, exhausted, and convinced you're falling. In this video, we'll break down how to identify the invisible distractions, reclaim your focus, and channel your energy where it counts. By the end, you'll have practical strategies to stop feeling like you're slipping and start moving deliberately toward your goals. Recognize the invisible distractions. The first step isn't pushing harder or staying awake longer, it's noticing what's pulling you off course. Most people feel like they're failing, but in reality, they're simply distracted. The phone buzzes, tabs pile up, emails scream for attention, and suddenly, your focus is gone before you even start. I remember mornings where I thought I was productive, but by noon, I realized I had jumped between 10 different tasks without finishing a single one. I felt exhausted, guilty, and convinced I was falling behind. Then it clicked: it wasn't me, it was the distractions. Experts in neuroscience explain that our brains are wired to respond to novelty, which is why notifications and random alerts hijack attention so easily. Recognizing this pattern is crucial. Once you see what's fragmenting your focus, you can start building boundaries and controlling your environment. It's not about eliminating everything, it's about identifying the distractions that cost you most. When you pinpoint these invisible energy drains, you regain the power to steer your day deliberately. You're not failing, you're learning to protect your attention and reclaim control. Set boundaries for your focus. Once you recognize the distractions, the next step is setting boundaries. Most people assume multitasking is productive, but it's the fastest route to feeling scattered and out of control. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and it needs protection. I used to let every notification interrupt my workflow. By mid-afternoon, I was exhausted, stressed, and convinced I was failing. Then I started creating intentional boundaries, muting my phone, closing unnecessary tabs, and scheduling blocks of uninterrupted time. The change was immediate. Suddenly, I wasn't reacting to chaos, I was directing my day. Research shows that uninterrupted focus significantly improves efficiency and reduces stress. Even short periods of protected time allow the brain to produce deeper insights and make better decisions. It's not about perfection, it's about structure. You can start small, 10 minutes of pure, distraction-free work. Increase gradually, and you'll notice a dramatic shift in productivity and mental clarity. The key is consistency. Boundaries aren't restrictions, they're tools that give you freedom to perform at your best. Prioritize what truly matters. Being busy doesn't mean being productive. Most people confuse activity with progress, jumping from task to task without asking if it really matters. That's why you feel like you're falling behind, even when you're doing everything right. I used to fill my days with meetings, messages, and small tasks, thinking it was productive. But by evening, nothing meaningful was accomplished. The turning point came when I started identifying the top 3 priorities for the day. That simple step transformed my productivity. Suddenly, I wasn't drowning in tasks, I was advancing toward real goals. Studies in time management show that focusing on fewer, high-impact tasks dramatically increases results and satisfaction. The human brain can only handle so much at once. Scatter your attention, and your effectiveness plummets. Prioritization isn't just about efficiency, it's about reclaiming your control and energy. When you focus on what truly matters, distractions lose their grip, and momentum builds naturally. You're not failing, you're simply learning to channel your attention toward what actually moves the needle. Build microhabits to stay grounded even with boundaries and priorities. It's easy to drift back into distraction. That's where microhabits come in. These are small, intentional actions that anchor your focus and keep your day on track. 10 minutes of reviewing your goals, journaling your progress, or planning your next steps can prevent you from feeling lost or out of control. I started spending 10 minutes each morning reflecting on my intentions. At first, it felt insignificant, but over weeks, those tiny habits reshaped how I approached every decision. I noticed less overwhelm, more clarity, and a deeper sense of purpose. Psychologists highlight that microhabits are powerful because they leverage consistency over intensity. Large changes are difficult to sustain, but small, repeated actions compound into remarkable results. They become invisible anchors that guide behavior without draining energy. You don't need hours of discipline to regain control, you need small, intentional habits that reinforce focus. When you integrate these micro-practices into your daily routine, distractions lose power, and your sense of direction strengthens. You're not falling, you're simply learning to stay grounded in the right moments. Here's the hard truth: most people will continue blaming themselves, thinking they're failing, when in reality, they're simply distracted. They'll keep reacting to every ping, every alert, every interruption, wondering why their goals slip further away. But you now know the difference. The wrong path is chaos, letting distractions dictate your day, juggling tasks without focus, and feeling like you're falling behind. The right path is deliberate, recognizing distractions, setting boundaries, prioritizing what matters, and building microhabits that anchor your attention. Most people won't do it. They'll stay busy yet achieve little. But you will. Because attention is the real currency of success. The moment you control it, you take control of your life. The savage truth? You're not failing, you've been scattered. And once you reclaim your focus, there's nothing that can stop you from moving forward. So remember this: you're not falling, you're distracted. The difference between feeling stuck and moving forward isn't talent or luck, it's focus. Recognize the distractions, set clear boundaries, and prioritize what truly matters. Build small, intentional habits that anchor your attention. Transformation doesn't require giant leaps. It's created through consistent, deliberate choices in the moments that often go unnoticed. The 10 minutes you spend reviewing priorities, journaling, or simply focusing without interruption can ripple across your entire day, week, and year. So ask yourself, when distractions arise, will you let them pull you down, or will you use your attention to regain control and move deliberately toward your goals? Now it's your turn. You've learned that you're not falling, you're simply distracted. The question is, will you take control of your attention or keep letting notifications, tasks, and chaos dictate your day? Take a moment to commit. What's one action you'll take in the next 10 minutes to regain focus? Drop it in the comments. I want to see who's ready to stop spinning their wheels. If this video gave you clarity, hit the like button. It shows you're serious about reclaiming control. And make sure to subscribe, because every video here is designed to help you cut through distractions, build microhabits, and move toward your goals deliberately. Take 10 minutes, focus intentionally, and watch as your days, and eventually your year, transform. Remember, you're not falling, you're learning to steer.